Hello and welcome to Smoke Mare's Gaming and Car Talk. Today we're back on DayZ for episode 3 of Recovering from a Death. This time we're going to actually meet up with my daughter. Her online name is Indigo, who's been looking after my stuff and stopping it from despawning. Obviously I did survive the mini horde hammering I got at the end of last episode because I forgot to go and shut the back door to the police station. Luckily, no bleeds or anything like that. And we've got a reasonable melee weapon, so I should be able to deal with this gentleman. That's my baseball bat I dropped earlier. Inventory space is a little bit tight. We've checked out a lot of this area. I think our jacket is now looking a little bit worse for wear, but whether it's a good time to change, I'm not sure. I'm just going to double check the rooms up here to see what we've got. Usually this is a good place to find stab vests, shotguns, boxed rubber slugs. That's quite a common item to find. Sometimes you can find the M-lock pistols, and you often get an assortment of clips of ammunition. So if you're heading through a town, always try and make your way to the police station. We haven't got a rifle over there, but I'm not sure if I've got any ammunition for it. First thing we need to do is to try and score a home run with this paramedic gentleman. But we're down again, and I think we may have picked up a bleed this time as well. What I really prefer to do is to find a silenced pistol and shoot them through the window, because you don't put yourself at risk then. Instead, we're having to rely on melee, and it's not really a great melee weapon. I find sometimes if they're charging at you, you're better off blocking the first 2 hits and then laying into them, particularly if you're using fists or brass knuckles. And again, if you can get some gloves, that will make you less likely to injure your hands. So at this point, my daughter, Indigo, has come in to help me out, and she's resuscitated me and patched me up a bit. Blood's quite low, health is worse. Looks like we're going to need some food mainly, and if possible some blood or saline to get our blood up. See, so give me a spare bandage there. We are talking, but you can't hear us because we're using Xbox Game Chat. An interesting quirk of this game is if you're playing with Xbox Game Chat, you don't seem to be able to hear proximity chat, and vice versa. For some reason, using both at the same time seems fairly incompatible. And again, when using the guns, I find it better to press the right stick down to aim, so you get that third person view. Obviously, we're out of bullets there. And you can also steady your aim by holding down the left stick until it clicks, and then holding it, and you'll hold your breath, which is a fairly standard sniper technique. Because obviously normally your breathing is creating a certain amount of up and down in your aim. IJ-7 is a very common pistol, and you can usually find ammunition for it. It doesn't tend to be silenced. You'll often find an M-lock with a silencer on it, and you'll find magazines for the IJ-70 more easily. So it's often worth taking the silencer off the M-lock and putting it on your IJ-70. Unless you're lucky and you find a mag for the M-lock and you've got an abundance of the 19mm bullets that it takes. I think the M-lock takes a very common 380s. Really looking to get back into the building where my stuff was dropped on the floor. The annoying thing was, the thing that actually killed me was lag in that instance. It kind of like, the game sort of glitched out of it and wouldn't let me shut a door, and then it kind of like you were paused and people were teleporting around and things. So we've got some 9mm rounds there, but I don't think we've got a gun that uses them. Again, if you are shooting through the window, sometimes you can stand on a little table or something to get a bit higher. You can get a better angle for your shot, particularly if they're close to the window or they're just around the side. It is possible to hit the bars, but as long as you aim carefully, you can shoot through them. Yeah, so the jacket's ruined now, so it's offering us not a lot of advantage. So that seems like a good time to put on the police jacket. Always forget to grab your items again if you change jackets, and ideally change before it gets to ruin, because if you change your jacket while it's badly damaged, for example, you can then use a knife to make rags with it. As soon as it gets to the point of being ruined, you cannot do that. It's suddenly, essentially, completely useless. And be careful if you're carrying a lot of stuff and you suddenly decide, oh, I'm wet, I need to wring my jacket out, and you take it off to wring it out. Yes, you can wring it out and get all the water out, but then you can't put it back on. So if it had a good high capacity, you could end up in a situation where you have to leave some stuff behind. So that's dealt with him. And again, she's wearing a motorcycle helmet, which is quite good because it gives you good insulation and a bit of protection. But if you're relying on proximity chat, it's something of a disadvantage. You'll find people can't hear as well. Just restricts your vision very slightly, but the main consideration with it is the fact that your proximity chat becomes very, very muffled. Not a problem if you're using Xbox Game Chat like we were here, but if you want to talk to strangers you meet on the road, it's probably not the best choice. So we're heading down now to the house where my stuff was left, hoping that it's not despawned. Given the proximity of the police station and the time that she spent helping me out, we should be okay. I like to just close those gates so that we don't get any surprises following us in. That's the room where I actually died, but she actually moved my stuff around here. And now it's a process of filtering through, comparing the stuff I had to the stuff I've got now, getting the best option out of everything, and making some decisions about what I'm going to leave behind, because I may well not have carrying space for all of this stuff. Sometimes if you're looking for carrying space and say you think, oh, I've got a leather sewing kit, but I've got no room for it, maybe just check to see if your shoes need repairing. Same if you've got sewing kits, don't discard it. If you're going to go through your own inventory and check everything out, just repair all of your clothes, and then you might not have a sewing kit to leave behind. Same with a gun cleaning kit. The interesting thing with gun cleaning kits and sewing kits is you can only repair things back to the worn state, so you can never make them pristine. And you can't repair anything that I found if it's become ruined. So we got some food there that I'd cooked up last time. I've got a few dried chicken fillets, which are a good source of food, and they'll sustain you for quite a long time. And also quite easy to make. You just have to find yourself a chicken. Obviously, when you're preparing the chicken, ideally you want to be wearing gloves so that you don't have to wash your hands. If you can't find any gloves, and again, they're really good things to have for carving chickens. If you're breaking branches off trees and things, it's going to mean you're less likely to cut yourself. If you're fighting zombies with your fists, give you a little bit of protection. Can't always find them, but if you get some rags, you can make some improvised hand wrappings. Now, the way it works is the more rags you use to sort of repair the wrappings, the better condition they'll get. Always useful to have a plastic water bottle that you can fill from the tap in town. But I would recommend, if you find a water bottle, I'd be inclined to empty it out. Empty it out in full, because you don't know what that water inside is going to be like. It could be dirty, it could be disease-ridden. It probably is going to be. So take your water bottle and empty it out before you drink from it. If you do take your water bottle to a fountain, it's better to drink the bottle, then refill it, than drink from the tap, because it just takes forever, drinking from the tap does. You're very vulnerable to being sniped or caught off guard by an infected or something like that. Just checking the items there. Again, that dry sack, if you can get hold of some rope by either finding it or crafting it out of 2 stacks of 6 bandages or some guts, weirdly enough, you can actually make a bag that you can sling over your shoulder to increase your carrying space. Not great, I think it's only got 20 slots, but it's certainly better than nothing, and rope is generally should be fairly easy to find. Just checking through our remaining items here, so we can take and what we have to leave. Definitely always try and keep a blade on you. At least 2 if you can. And again, I would avoid using blades as a melee weapon, because they're just such useful tools. You'll also find things like a hoe and a hatchet can be used to make rags or quarter chickens and things, and sometimes you'll find a can that needs an opener to open. So you'll need these kind of sharp objects to open those. If you are short on food, you can use a bladed item to peel a potato, and you can then eat it. However, obviously in real life, do not eat raw peeled potatoes. It's not good for you. But in DayZ, I guess, desperate times, desperate measures, you can eat raw peeled potato. What you can't do is cook a raw peeled potato in a kind of grilling oven, the sort of baking things you find in houses or on a campfire very easily. You can cook one if you have if you haven't skinned it. You can sort of cook yourself a jacket potato in those kind of fires. If you've got a cooking pot and water, then you can add a peeled potato to your recipe. Quite often find them on infected. They're not a rare item. If you've got a base somewhere and you want a sustainable source of food, one option is to take a potato, don't peel it, and plant it in an area, and that potato will then seed and create more potatoes. Got some head torch there. Always a useful item. Great if you're trying to trek across country at night. The only thing you do have to bear in mind with things like head torches and glow sticks and all that kind of thing is, yes, it will make it easier for you to see, but it also makes it significantly easier for anybody else to see you. That's a very nice, I think that's an IJ70 with the suppressor off a M-lock fitted to it, which is precisely what I was describing earlier. So common gun, common mag, common ammo. The suppressor doesn't work quite as well as it does with the M-lock, but it's still significantly better than nothing. It doesn't really seem to have a big negative effect on the gun. The thing I've got on my backpack is there. It's a GPS device. Again, if you find one, it might be damaged. You can find an electronics repair kit in some of the higher elite tiers areas, and you can repair it. And what this will then do is you can check it at any time to see what your coordinates on the map are. Just going to go through and check our inventory. That's all looking reasonably good. Don't really want to leave anything behind if I can avoid it. I think at this stage I'm just considering trying to use some of these rubber bullets to take out the zombie bashing on the door. If you're struggling for space, as I said before, if you take a knife and combine it with your fishing rod, you can break it back down into its constituent parts. A good idea is to then throw the stick part away, because it's so easy to come by and so easy to craft, and just carry around the rope and a hook. And that'll mean you can pretty much not have to worry about food as long as there's water nearby. I think we're getting close to the stage now where we've cleared out this room and sort out as much as we can. I'm just going to follow her downstairs and... Oh, weird one. Aggro, so... And I'm holding her breath. Took a few shots there. I think I missed the couple two, maybe hit the side of the house. Gun's jammed, or I'm out of bullets. Possibly jammed. This wasn't really my finest hour, I'm afraid, in DayZ. And it does highlight the risk of using guns. They're great to use inside a house through a window, but even then you're drawing attention to your location, which, if there's players, and to be honest, most of the players I've met have generally been fairly aggressive. Okay, she's come out now, she's dealt with them, and we're going to move on. Unjamming my gun there. One thing you will notice is as your gun's condition deteriorates, its chance of jamming will increase to the point where a badly damaged gun can really jam quite frequently. Another interesting one is if you shoot a zombie's knees out, it will often just crawl around on the floor, not able to get up, but it won't give up the chase. I just want a quick bandage up here. Again, the trouble using a gun, for every zombie you dispatch, if it's busy, you could be drawing two zombies close to you. Well, that's it for this episode anyway. We've got one more episode here. We've actually covered the stuff, but we're just going to go through a bit of the exploration in this area with my daughter. Hope you've enjoyed it. Anyway, hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in part 4.